You're listening to Bellwethers podcast with Matthews Joseph.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the Bellwethers podcast. This is your host Matthews Joseph, and today we have two people from PrintIn Media, the co-founders of PrintIn Media, with us on this podcast, Darshak Manikandan and Shoyab Sheikh. Welcome to Bellwethers podcast.
Thank you so much for having us over Bellwethers podcast.
It's actually a true honor to have you guys over here. And, most of you guys who don't know, they were my juniors in college and I never really saw them or, associated with them. But, after passing out and after graduating, I'm seeing these people. So, I'm actually happy for what you guys are doing. I mean, what you guys are with PrintIn and with your startup. It's something huge. I mean, even though in your college days starting something. So do you mind telling a couple of sentences about what your startup is about and what PrintIn does?
Sure. I would just like to introduce myself at first. I'm Darshak Manikandan, and I'm the CEO of PrintIn. And I'm also a student. I'm pursuing aerospace engineering third year in Carnegie University. And so coming to PrintIn, PrintIn is basically a startup where we act like a platform between a user who wants to print a document and the print shopkeeper, basically. Yeah. So you can pre-order your print, or maybe you can even get it delivered at your location. That's what we do at PrintIn, basically.
Oh, that's actually awesome. Yeah. So let's just move on with a couple of more questions. I'm pretty sure everybody is going to have these questions. Sure. So how did you come up with the idea of PrintIn? I mean, you are actually printing a document. You don't literally have to physically go to the printing shop, and you can just do it with your phone. I mean, you're making life easier to all the people around you. Exactly. So how did you come up with this idea? I mean, what motivated you to come up with this idea?
Okay, so when you think of a startup basically, if you see broadly, it consists of majorly a problem and a solution, right? So actually, Shoaib was the one who came up with the problem statement to me. So I would like Shoaib to explain that part first.
Yeah. So actually, what happened is it was last day to submit an assignment, and I haven't completed. Okay. So I somehow managed to complete it using my friend's laptop while class was going on, and there was next class I have to submit it. I downloaded that PDF, and there was a 5-minute break during that class. Okay, so I thought I'll go to the print shop, I'll take the printout and come back to the class. And a college department is at very end of the college, and the print shop is at very beginning. So I ran to the print shop, and I saw there half of the college was present there. There was too much rush. So I went and I stood there and stood in queue. And I was like, okay, it will take 10 minutes. Okay, I'll go to the class and I'll explain the reason. But actually it took half an hour to me to get my printout. And I took my printout. I went back to the class, and what my faculty says is you're not allowed to the class. You won't get attendance. And it was last day to submit my assignment, so I lost my assignment marks and also my attendance. So that time I thought, this is the problem with everyone. Each and every student face this problem. They have to go to get the assignment, and they want attendance too. But this is the So I took this as a problem statement. And same evening, I went to Darshak. I told this to Darshak. So there is some backstories. Backstory behind this. So I would like Darshak to continue this.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, one of our mentors, Mr. Vishal Nair, you might be knowing him. He's a professor in college. So he conducted a seminar on entrepreneurship, and he explained us about the problem solution fit and all that. And I was like, this is what I had been doing indirectly in my mind, subconsciously, right from my school days. And that's where I got to know, okay, this is what is called as entrepreneurship. So this gave me kind of motivation that, okay, I have a knack or a tendency towards entrepreneurship. And we started off our first venture actually called Rust Yards right in our first sem, and it worked pretty good initially. But when it was time to scale up, we realized it's not something which we could do along with our academics. So we kept that on pause. Basically that's where our partnership began. Mine and Shoaib's partnership basically began, and that's why Shoaib came to me. And so coming back to the story, so Shoaib came to my room that evening and said, "Hey, bro, this is what has happened, and is there any way we could solve this problem?" Then we analyzed the problem statement and realized that this is actually faced by many people, especially college students, and we decided to work on it. So we brainstormed a bit, in my college, in my hostel room, and thought how cool it would be if someone could deliver my print, or if I could pre-order my print, and the print shop people would keep it ready by the time I go there. So yeah, that's where the idea of PrintIn was basically conceived or born.
Wow, that's actually pretty nice. I mean, I mean, like I never knew this is the backstory about it, so I'm actually pretty surprised. I mean, even though even in my college days, I mean, yeah, we would run to the printout shop, and
Exactly.
there's a huge queue there, waiting for people to come up there.
Yeah.
And we used to get really mad, oh my god, again.
Yeah,
So we used to have the
Timing
same
issue.
thoughts, and I mean, it's actually very much relatable when you actually said, when you actually said you were waiting there. I was like, wow, I never thought. I mean, 4 years I was studying there. Most of us never thought of this idea, and then you guys come with it. That is awesome. That is massive, guys. That's actually huge. I'm actually happy for what you guys actually came up with. Something of it's actually a new gen problem and a new gen solution.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Using all the resources that you have, that's actually pretty huge. I mean, I like it. I mean, I really like it. So I just had to ask you this. So how did you identify your unique selling point?
Yeah, so as I said, during the brainstorming session, we realized that this is something which is faced by many, and not only just college students, but also in metro cities, and even in government offices actually. And in today's fast-growing world, I would say that time and context are almost equivalent to money, right? So if we could solve this problem indirectly, one segment of our customers are saving time, and the reason why I said one segment is basically because for us, both the app users as well as the print shop people are customers. So the app users are basically
Yeah, exactly.
saving time.
Yeah, exactly. The like from the point of like from shopkeeper point of view, if we see that they are having a problem of like maintaining the records and data. So when we got this idea, so we thought like it would work or not. So we tested it on WhatsApp. Like we did beta testing in our campus on WhatsApp, and this really worked well.
Yeah.
And then after that, like we got feedback from shopkeepers that okay, why don't you why don't you build this, grow something like this. So like even they are facing the problem of like maintaining record, who paid, who didn't paid. Like when there is a lot of rush, they cannot maintain the record that who paid them, who didn't, and some of the students take the printout for free. So they actually told us this. So like we came up with that. We will come up with some from shopkeeper point of view also, and we came up with website shopkeeper panel. So we provide them each and everything. Like they can maintain the record of their customers, they can maintain the transaction, so it won't be mess for them to like maintain the record, and they can do it. They'll do all the transaction very.
Yeah, and
basically, you guys created two databases, right? So one for the shopkeepers, and one for the customers.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a real-time database. And also, by the time our app was ready, there was a lot of problems while developing the app as well. So by the time it was ready, all this banning of Chinese apps and all this happened. And you might be knowing a very famous Chinese scanner app got banned, right, in India. So we are like, why not add that feature also in PrintIn? So we did that also, and that also added up to our USP. And so to answer in a nutshell, the way we identified our USP is basically by brainstorming and by beta testing, or in other words, experimenting in a small scale. And third, by just utilizing the opportunity, the thing which we did with the scanning part.
Wow, that's actually that's pretty awesome. I mean, I'm actually surprised. I mean, that's actually huge. I mean, two guys from still in college, two college boys actually creating something. I mean, I'm reminded by something that's happened a few years back while I was in India. I remember about how Oyo rooms came up. I mean, that too was started by a college guy. I think he was 18 or 19 when he started that whole startup.
He was 18, yeah.
It is awesome. I mean, how college guys, I mean, we actually, analyze these problems, and especially engineers. I mean, this is why I'm a big fan of engineers, because I tell people, I mean, you have a solution, you have a problem, an engineer can come up with that solution, because we actually can deal with anything.
Exactly.
I mean, looking at the past thing. I mean, like a few days back, I was talking with one of my, I was having this conversation with one of my very close friends, and I was telling him, engineers are everywhere. I mean, we are entrepreneurs right now. I mean, me being an entrepreneur, I'm hosting a podcast, and me being a mechanical engineer, and you guys being aerospace engineers are actually developing an application that is actually helping others print documents. Again, huge. And all guys are becoming directors and actors right now, and they're writing script writers, and they're doing a lot of things. I mean, engineers are almost everywhere. I mean, we are very much contagious. I mean, we had this idea in us. We actually spark these things up and we work on it. I mean, it's actually huge. I mean, I'm still actually very much surprised by the fact. I mean, most people would be surprised, but right now I'm like, even though I'm a bit surprised, but I mean, we are engineers. I mean, so what's a big deal with that?
Exactly.
So that's awesome. I mean, what you guys actually had, how you actually your unique selling point and your ideas and your motivation. That's actually huge. So this is actually the next question. I mean, I think this question would be a huge motivation to a lot of people around the world. So why did you start this during your college days? And why not wait till wait for the release till your academics? I mean, so mostly I want to know why you started in your college days. I mean, because, I think that will be an inspiration to many of people who are actually listening to this podcast.
All right. So to answer this, I would like to take you back a little backstory,
Sure. Let's go flashback.
Yeah. So when I came to the college, entrepreneurship was like very new term for me. Like people are learning new quarantine and this term in 2020. It was like that for me when I came to the college, entrepreneurship. Okay. And I was like, I saw Darshak speaking about entrepreneurship. He wants to, like entrepreneurship. He wants to do startup. I was like, what this guy is talking about? This guy used to tell me his ideas. He wanted to do his venture. And I was like totally blank about it. I was listening to him very properly. But once like after the class, we sat in the library and he explained me everything what entrepreneurship is. And after that total 1 hour lecture, I guess, yes, that's
yeah, exactly.
After that 1 hour lecture, I understood that, okay, this is called entrepreneurship. And that time I understood. Then that time I told Darshak, I want to join you in Rustcats and I want to make something great with you. And yeah, from that point we started working together. And also, after Rustcats, we started writing our ideas in a book. And I guess we have some 9 ideas written, I guess, right, Darshak?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, yeah.
That's actually awesome.
And so
writing up your ideas. I mean, something that's like, writing has become, I mean, especially with us coming up, with the digital medias coming up. I mean, I honestly, even when I was like, taking down the questions to ask you guys, to ask my podcast people. So I actually Google Keep and I just put it up over there. I mean, I love to write. I mean, I'm a person who loves to write, takes notes, but but since Google Keep is there, that's become my new writing pad. So it's like but writing down your ideas, that's actually huge. I mean, something that most people do. I mean, even though I actually have different sets of paragraphs, but like notes for this. So I give some sets for quotes. Some set for ideas, some set for people who I look to feature in the podcast, and I have different sets of lists. And I mean, just write it out. I mean, I think that is actually awesome because 9 ideas, that's actually huge.
Yeah.
And people like us, I mean, you need to tell those people, you need to tell our generation that, you need to write, you need to write these things down. You tend to forget, we live in a very fast paced world.
Exactly,
I mean, you have an idea today and tomorrow somebody else makes that a business. So, that's how it goes up, I mean, back to you. I mean, I just want to tell this small thing about ideas.
Yeah. Okay. So, we wrote these ideas and, the PrintIn was the one which came which we thought we can do and it has very big potential. Other ideas were like, okay, we can do, but we can do it after we have to do it on big scale, but we can start with PrintIn, and yeah, that's where we came up with PrintIn. And what is the best part as starting as a student is you don't have to worry about anything. Like you are not losing anything. Literally, you are not losing your job. You are not losing anything. Just you are losing your attendance when you cut your classes. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what Mark Zuckerberg thought in 2004 while starting social network, while Facebook. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he's also had the same mentality and the same thought process like you're having right now. So I'm actually happy about that.
Yeah, exactly. And when you are in college, like the degree of freedom is comparatively more, right? When you're like post college, because responsibilities, add up and all those things happen. So and even if you see the probability factor, the probability of getting succeeded if you start early is much more, right? And and in terms of like if you are asking about disadvantage, I can only think of like let's just say there is you and one of your classmates, both gives equal amount of time to academics, right? And but then you start off with your startup, and the time gets divided, and if you're really really serious about your venture, like I'm telling you from like our experience, it's like it would be running throughout your mind 24/7. Sometimes it would even come in your dream, and right from your eating, even when you're studying. So academic part, it kind of takes a bit lag, but then if you look at the long term picture, you're much ahead of I would say competitors or your colleagues, right? So if you look at the short term, it's actually a disadvantage, but if you look at the long term, a big picture, it's a great advantage. And for us personally, like to manage the academics part, we have got a great bunch of friends who teach us if we miss out anything, especially during the exam time. So yeah, that has helped us a lot.
I mean, that's actually awesome. I mean, what you guys just said. I mean, you starting up in your college days, that's actually huge. I mean, that's exactly. I mean, one person that I'm actually very much fond of is Mark Zuckerberg. Actually, he started Facebook with a couple of his friends at a time when people rarely use laptops, and people like laptops were actually becoming the trend, and we did not even have the cell phones. I mean, that was like years back. So starting that actually started the revolution of social media. I believe from 2004. I think it's been 16 years since Facebook has been founded, and all through these years, the vast changes that has happened in the industry has been huge. Instagram came, Snapchat came up, then Twitter came up, then what was Tumblr came up. A lot of applications came up because one man thought he can make a difference, and I believe I think I was telling you guys a couple of minutes before this session. One man's obstacle is another man's opportunity. That's always like that. So when you find an obstacle, you need to develop that into an opportunity, because if you don't do it tomorrow, somebody else might start up. It is always like all the podcast sessions that we've been here, this is one thing that I've been repeatedly telling these people. That's one thing. Just because there's a competition does not mean you cannot start it.
True.
If it was up to me, there are like 1 million podcasting channels in the world.
Yeah, right.
There are 1 million, and I'm like, okay, I'm the 1 million and the first. So I'm doing it because it's not because there is a huge competition, I had to step back. Because there's a huge competition, I can step in and I can prove myself. Now that's the main point. I believe that most people actually, when they see the competition part, they actually see an obstacle, and then they step back.
Right. Yeah. So and even when you're starting a startup, right? And if you don't have a business connection or a business background, I would say, like when you start to market it slowly at a slower pace in initial stage, I think you tend to get exposed to much larger crowd, and that competitor thing, or if someone else would do that thing, that factor would always be there in terms of startup. So I think it's we should neglect that and just work on our particular venture.
No, yeah, that's definitely also, true. Yeah, go on, Shah.
Also, like once you start early, so you get like a lot of time to learn new things. Like you do mistakes, you learn from that, and even if your venture doesn't work, you will get experience to work in somewhere else. That is very best part in this. So that starting early is like best part to start for any venture or any startup.
Yeah, even the mistakes or the experiences which we got from RustYards, our first venture, like helped us a lot. Immensely in PrintIn. So it's great actually.
No, that's actually huge. One person. This is one quote which says, "If a man has not made any mistake, then he has not tried anything new." So I think mistakes are not. We see mistakes and failures as a negative thing, or actually the people around the society thinks that mistakes and failures are a negative kind of thing. But to me, it is actually a positive thing, because when you actually fail in something, when you actually it's actually, you are trying to do something new, you're trying to make a progress there, and you fail. I mean, that's fine, because failures are stepping stones to success. And then you try again, and then you try again. I mean, you just keep going ahead and ahead. I mean, one person I'm extremely fond of is Elon Musk. I mean, he started PayPal, then he has Zip2. I mean, now he has Tesla, now his Boring Company, he has SpaceX. I mean, what else does this guy not have? I mean, just because some of the ventures failed in the past does not mean that he stopped there. I mean, if he had actually stopped there thinking, okay, no, I'm not going to do it, I mean, I'm failing, I mean, we would not have half the stuff we are actually, the revolutions over here right now. And that reason is like, the fastest growing billionaire in the world as well, because his ideas has become, it is very huge. I mean, when I see this, I mean, when I see what he's doing, it's actually awesome. I mean, when you actually see all these things happening, it's actually something, that we are extremely proud of, to see that guy doing things. I mean, if he had not done that, vertical takeoff and landing would not be possible. Electric hybrid cars would not be possible. And now, this guy wants to put things up to Mars. And to the moon. It's huge. I mean, that is a vision. I mean, that is a guy who actually sees 10 years from now. So, I believe, that, I mean, he's going to achieve even more things. I mean, I believe he's going to start up another 5 startups in the next 10 years. I'm pretty sure about that, because we're talking about Elon Musk. So, I mean, these people are like, a huge inspiration. Especially to entrepreneurs like us. Now, when we want to start something up, there are people who have achieved this. I mean, when people, I mean, I've seen a lot. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard about this guy called Michael Hyatt. So he is actually a writer, and he was actually the CEO of Zondervan International, I think. I forgot which venture was. So he failed in his first business. So he was a miserable failure in his first business. So he didn't stop there. He actually still started digging up. Then he found out Michael Hyatt and co. And then he actually went on to start give trainings to people. So right now he specializes in giving trainings to business people. So like us. So if we want training, we can register with him, and he gives us. You just have to pay some amount, and then he actually help you develop your business and give you strategies, give you ideas. That's what this guy does. And he failed in his first startup. And I mean, he could have been like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it ever in my life. And then he could have stopped. But if he had done that, we would not have these things, these initiatives that he is raising today.
Cool.
And I firmly believe that failure is actually as a positive experience. I mean, you just have to see it as a positive experience, and you got to start it again. And I believe, I really hope that you guys are going to make a huge success out of this. And I really hope and pray about this, because, you guys have a vision. I mean, this is something, a revolutionary idea. I mean, this is something different. I mean, because I think, especially in India, where in a country where, like, especially I think that even if this does not click up in the metro cities, I'm pretty sure this is going to click up in every college in India, because then people are going to be like, then I'm pretty sure, like, they're never going to get up from their bed. They're just going to put the home delivery thing and just print it out. No, I'm just kidding. But, but still, I mean, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a huge hit in all the colleges in India. So, make sure you have every engineering college on your list. So a generous tip from my side. All right. So moving on, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected PrintIn? I mean, this is actually something, I think this is a very, very, very huge question. I mean, you guys started up at a time when the pandemic hit you guys. And, I think it was actually a huge, I mean, how did you strategize yourself? How did you resize your strategies, and how did you rewrite your strategies to face the pandemic?
So the lockdown has affected many startups, and we initially started our prototype, building our prototype in Chandrapur. And, like, as a target audience are students. But, like, in this lockdown, students were not at all active. And who is going to take printout in this lockdown? So why we started early is to grow ourselves. We are using this pandemic as an opportunity to grow ourselves, to finding our own mistakes now. So we started early. We started for each students, and then we went out for each and everyone. And then we started social media marketing. When we started in Chandrapur, we started social media marketing, and it took almost 2 weeks to reach out. And after 2 weeks, I can see people talking about, okay, there is something called PrintIn going on. There is some new app PrintIn going on. Like, we got a hype in Chandrapur, like people were talking about it. But we still struggle to get orders because as I told you, this pandemic, no one wants to take printout, no one wants to go out of their homes. So, but after some time, people started ordering from our app, and we successfully completed beta testing in Chandrapur. As a as a rich so this was one problem we faced in this pandemic, and we came up with many problem. We were doing on ground work, and we came up with many problem which we are working on. So this pandemic we are using as opportunity. Like after beta testing, we are using it as an opportunity.
Wow, I think I'm reminded by this one saying by Winston Churchill, who said, "Do not waste a good crisis." And you guys are actually using that crisis. You're not wasting the crisis. You're actually utilizing that. So to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. So something that you can try out. I mean, right now I think almost every company or every firm. I mean, even it is in India or in the United States or anywhere in the world, people have started this home deliver to home. And everything has become more like a service-based companies rather than a customer-based right now. So everything is service. So if you want, I mean, here there's a Walmart. I mean, nearby. I was seeing the other day, a few months back, I saw this like you can actually order the groceries online, and you can just go there and wait there, and they just come with it and drop off in your car. And Amazon, on the other hand, recently with Whole Foods, they actually made this initiative that if you order, they'll deliver to your home everything, even groceries, milk, and everything. We're talking about something that I mean, and even if you go ahead in India, I mean, more supermarkets, or Reliance Super, everybody has introduced this particular method into existence. So everybody who actually is a chain of supermarkets has actually introduced this almost everywhere, and everybody is not wasting their crisis. So everybody's using their crisis.
Yeah, but with respect to PrintIn, amidst all these problems, like we kept promoting, and as Shoaib said, after a quite long of wait, we started getting noticed, and even a couple of investors approached us during this pandemic. But for some like strategic reason, we didn't take any early stage investment. But we collaborated with one resource person in Nagpur. So Nagpur is basically the major city next to Chandrapur, where we did the beta testing. So he's the one who's going to be managing the entire show in Nagpur region. And so this pandemic was like a roller coaster ride for us, because if it was not for the pandemic, we would have gone directly to the major market and to our target audience basically, and ended up doing these mistakes which we did in the beta testing, and which might have eventually, who knows, might have killed our company, right? So this pandemic was like a blessing in disguise for us, to be honest.
Wow, that's actually nice. That's actually awesome. I mean, again, do not waste a good crisis. I mean, that's actually this. I think this is exactly. I mean, Winston Churchill said like 40 or 50 years back, but it actually comes into existence right now. So it's actually huge. I mean, that's actually it's actually a great thing what you guys are doing. And so going ahead, to a final question. So I think this I had asked to both of you. So we'll go with Choyap first. What are your future plans? I mean, in basis of PrintIn and as per your personal life.
Yeah. As of my future plans, like talking about PrintIn, I wish to expand PrintIn to all possible cities, like make it really big, very big. And as I told you earlier, we are writing our ideas in a book, So we will be working on those ideas once we grow the PrintIn. Okay. And I'm also planning to to come into my educational part. I'm also planning to pursue my MTech masters in aerospace field. And for doing any venture, you need some technical knowledge. So for doing PrintIn, I'm learning new language, Flutter, so that I will be involved in the technical part of PrintIn. So if any technical issues come, I don't have to wait for anyone to come and resolve it. I will be the one doing that. And it's the best part for any venture, like if you are skilled in that part, it will be like for your benefit. So I want to learn the skills. And currently now, like world is focusing toward AR. Like their current trend is going on, like everyone wants to build something in AR or AI. So I want to learn those things, and I have some project ideas in that. So I want to learn those things and also implement it. Many startup, why do they don't start is they don't have a proper technical background. Like they wait for the proper tech background person to join their team, and then they'll start. Like I have met many people like this. What I don't want this thing to happen with me. So I want to learn these things and grow my skills. Talking about education, growing in like learning about completing masters in aerospace. But apart from that, I want to grow all the technical skills wherever I can, so that if I have some project idea, I should not stop in that. He's saying that okay, I will wait for that proper guy to come and join me and make my company.
Oh, that's actually nice. That's a pretty good plan. Now, I hope all the best for you and your venture as well. So, moving into Darshak. So, what is your future plan in terms of printing, and in terms of your personal life?
Yeah, so okay, to start off with PrintIn, as Shoaib mentioned, like we really want PrintIn to go great, go big, right? And I know it might sound like bragging, but it's not. But like we really wanted to go global. Actually, that was the vision we set up in the very initial stage, like the final vision so that the PrintIn can go global. And with respect to my personal future plans. I would say I just don't want to stop with PrintIn. I want to do many more ventures, to understand the whole dynamics of entrepreneurship, startup, innovation, and everything. And I don't know how to say this, but I want this beautiful earth to be cool. Like that's my uh, ultimate aim. But I'll tell you how
Sustainability.
yeah. I'll tell you how my thinking process works in this field. So first part is like how many majorly how all the entrepreneurs think like what are the possible future problems that humanity can face to solve that particular part. And the second phase is like imagine it was like I'll explain you in terms of aerospace. Okay, imagine it was like 1905 when the Wright brothers invented airplane. And if you would have asked a layman then how do you think 2020 would be, he would have said something crazy like humans wouldn't be walking, they would be flying or something like that. Or it was 1961 when Yuri Gagarin went to space. And if you would have asked a layman then how 2020 would be, he would have said like humans would be maybe taking daily trips to space, who knows. Or as Elon Musk says, humans would be an interplanetary species. Like so yeah, what I'm trying to say is like with respect to our ancestors and their thoughts or their visualization, we haven't reached it there. I would say we are not yet cool. So yeah, I just want to make things cool. I don't know if I'll be able to do it or not, but yeah, I'll try. And yeah, this is what I want to do.
I mean, that's awesome. I'm actually happy for you guys. You have a vision and you set things up. You have an idea book. I mean, that's actually awesome. People actually don't. You guys have a good plan in your head. So you actually have a particular. You guys have planned it out. So you have you have literally scripted it out. So what things are going to be, what you guys want to do. Yeah. I mean, actually, that's huge. I mean, planning is one of the major things an entrepreneur should do. Sure. And planning and dreaming is actually one of the most advanced things that we actually should be doing.
Yeah.
And that is actually something that's very huge as well, because we actually if you don't plan, I mean, if you plan, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. That's what Sir Benjamin Franklin said. Yeah. So you had to plan. You had to plan ahead. You had to plan way ahead. You had to make sure that everything. Sometimes things might not fall into place. I mean, because there's a pandemic going on in the world still that is going on, and that might have disrupted the plans, but you can adapt always. You can go digital. I mean, one of the basic things that I would say always is going digital is the greatest inventory that we have, because digital is actually something huge.
True. Yeah.
And it's actually pretty awesome too, because digital is the best way you can reach people as well. Because recently I read an article saying almost 3.5 billion people use social media every day. I mean, that is like half the population of the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they all use this media. They all use social media for their various resources. And right now, everything is digital. I mean, I actually read a lot of magazines. So like Founder, Entrepreneur, and Forbes. So I make sure I stay updated with these. And they all have their digital copies all the time. So I actually go there and I read the digital copy, because wherever I am, so I might be waiting to service my car, and I can still go through it and read through these things. So that's how, making us comfortable. That's how as social media and digitalization digitalization has been happening in the world for the past 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And I believe, it's going to make us even more comfortable in these coming years.
True.
So, it's actually going to be like, it's actually going to be more comfort. So, it's like, it's going, digitalization is the next revolution. That's what people say. And I firmly believe that it is as well. So, just go ahead. I mean, I really wish all the best for your plans. And, I hope that, you guys go global and, you guys get, I think you should actually get more people into you and, get hire more people and, make sure that, it's actually a combined process. And one thing I always tell people, this is one thing, teamwork makes a dream work. So make sure you remember that, because teamwork is the dream work. Because when you work as a team, you know how much it is actually, you are actually fulfilling your dream, you're fulfilling your vision. And when you work as an individual rather than that, it's actually very much hard. So teamwork is always a dream work. So never forget that, go ahead. I mean, I think it's actually awesome to have you guys over here. And this was your first podcast, right?
Yeah, this was our first podcast. And, if you don't mind, like, I would like to take a moment here, like, this is actually something really big for us. Okay. I mean,
yeah, cool. Go ahead.
Couple of years, back, I don't know if I would have even imagined about, being in a podcast this early. Yes, I would have obviously imagined, but this early wasn't the case. And it's not just us, okay, me and Shoaib. There's a lot of people and whose hard work and whose smart work maybe is the pushing factor of what we have reached now, what the stage we have reached now. I would say right from first I would like to say about my parents. Like, they basically have never stopped me for anything, or my dad and mom have been a constant support for me in whatever case or whatever path I take. And they then after that, obviously university, and I mentioned Mr. Vishal Nair. He has been a constant support and mentor of for PrintIn, and not only for PrintIn, but right from Rust Yards. And then Mr.
I think he also started a startup recently, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's Crossway Solutions or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. And then Mr. Ginu Matthew from Abhi Repair, he has been a constant support and mentor. And then not only them, like our team as well. Like we both are like a college student studying aerospace engineering. We are also in our learning curve, right? So it's very difficult just for two of us to take the right decisions all the time, and that's where the team actually comes into play. And I'm proud to say that I have a team which stands resolutely with us with whatever decision we take and the brainstorming sessions, whatever we do. So I would just like to mention them.
Yeah, definitely, please.
Yeah, the team members are basically Mr. Austin Abraham. He's the business development officer, so he basically takes part of the expansion, then strategy part, and then is our app developer, Mr. Sushil. So he's the actually backbone behind the whole app part and the whole updation part, all the features and everything. Then there's a PR team of Mr. Abhishek Thomas and Mr. David, and then there's a marketing team consisting of Kavya and Mr. Anirudh. So these are the team. These are the bunch of great people who has supported us in the journey of PrintIn, and who has pushed us to reach this far.
Man, that's actually awesome. I mean, a huge shout out to the whole team behind you guys. Those people are awesome, and you guys are awesome as well. And the teamwork actually is actually that's actually pretty sustaining. I mean, I think that's actually helps you build each other as well.
Exactly.
I actually want to give a huge shout out to those people who actually work behind this, and you guys are awesome guys. If you guys are hearing this, you guys are super awesome to support these guys.
And when I look back, library 1 hour lecture, like I didn't even thought of this key. We will come to this point and we will be like sitting here, and we like after that, many ups and downs came, like for Rust Yards, for the startups, many ups and downs came. But finally, like we somehow managed and we came here, and like our families too supported to us for this. Like both of our families.
And above all, God has been kind to us and placed us at the right place at the right time, and that's how actually we have got into this area.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's actually huge things. I mean, I'm actually happy for you, and I'm sure that the best days are still ahead of you. And you guys gonna go global as well. And I'm pretty sure that you'll invite me to the success party after that.
Definitely.
So I'll book my tickets right away. I believe this is going to be a new revolution, revolution in the digital world as well. So I hope and I wish you all the best, and in this venture and all your future success ventures as well. So good luck, guys. I mean, and I want to say thank you so much for being in this podcast. I mean, that actually really means a lot to me. And I believe, we can be able to stir up the passion in a lot of people like you guys, when you guys came forward and, you guys started to do this. And, when I actually saw PrintIn, and a friend of mine, actually, an acquaintance of mine, who actually said about you guys, and we actually got patched up together, me and Darshak. And then Darshak told me the whole story, and, putting Shoaib in. So it all started from there. I mean, just one message from my side to a friend actually made sure that this podcast happened.
True,
so that's actually huge. I mean, I believe that great things are still in store for you guys, and I wish you all the best and all the very best. And make sure that you keep up the spirit up, and best regards to all your team. And just tell them tell them that they're doing a really great job with the media, with the great stuff. I'm not kidding. I'm actually being I'm actually saying the true part. So make sure that you guys do well. I mean, I hope all the best for you guys. So, guys, to all of our listeners, that was Darshak Manikantan and Shoaib Sheikh, the co-founders of PrintIn Media. So right now they're actually going. They actually did some beta testing in Chandrapur, which is actually in Maharashtra, India. And now they're going global. I mean, now they're going to Nagpur, and after that, soon they're going to expand into a lot of cities. And after that, they're going to go global in this coming year. So we're gonna, make sure you guys look out for these guys, and maybe probably in a year or two, you will see headlines about them. Say, probably some big stuff's coming up. So I really hope so. And so, all the links and the descriptions to PrintIn and Shoaib and Darshak's social media profiles is actually there in the podcast description. So go ahead, click that, and go ahead and check them out. So if there's anything, if you can actually help them out, help them out. If you want to talk to them, or if you want to get advice from them, just go ahead and hit them up. These guys are super awesome. They're super friendly, and no worries about that. So again, thank you so much to all our listeners for listening to this podcast. And once again, thank you, Darshak and Shoaib over here. So you're listening to Bellwethers show, and this is Matthews. And right now we are signing off with these people. Make sure you stay tuned, because we are going to have some new people coming up in the next episode. This is going to be even more interesting. So stay tuned and chill out.